Hi, this is Grandmother Sue of the 13 Grandmothers of Australia. Over the next few weeks, each of the grandmothers will be doing a short video about themselves and to share a little bit of the work we do and how we became grandmothers. So, for me, I am a grid worker or an earth worker or a vortex keeper. And that was how I met Kiri, who is our founder, and she had the task of finding the 13 grandmothers. And she visited me down here at the Vortex and was quite impressed, and obviously she thought about it for a while and thought we needed a Tasmanian grandmother, and doing something different that most people don't do, it's a good lead-in, so I got to be the Tasmanian grandmother. I was very, very honoured to be chosen. It's a huge, huge thing in my life because I set out on my journey to help, to heal, to grow, to bring people back onto the natural path. Being a naturopath and remedial masseuse by trade, I thought, I was very idealistic and was quite disappointed in trying to get people to change. So life took another turn and I ended up in Tasmania on this most magnificent property on the mountainside looking at the sea, and my task was to bring an ancient power site back to being. The Vortex Centre here is on the tail of the Rainbow Serpent, and the Rainbow Serpent goes right through all the major power sites on our planet, and we're right on the tail of it. So my task was to bring the property back to its full potential. It was a cow paddock when I found it, and it took quite a few years of cleansing and clearing and bringing myself up to the higher frequencies as the property took off and became what it should have been. I had to stay in touch with it and at the same frequency, and so I did a lot of clearing, cleansing and growing on my own personal self. Once we got to a certain level, then I was sent all around the world to connect to the power sites that needed help and cleansing. The site in Tasmania is pristine. It's been a cow paddock for the last 100 years, and by connecting to the other power sites, we send out the beautiful pure energy and bring back the other energy to be cleansed. It's been an honour to do this work. It's been very difficult. I've got to travel to some very beautiful places. I've been in Egypt, which was my favourite place before I started travelling, and I got to be in the Great Pyramid on the 11th of the 11th, 2009, which is another 11. So we were there at 11 a.m. and we managed to download the Divine Feminine through the King's Chamber, which was a difficult task because it was a male energy as opposed to the female. So we were gifted the way to do it very early in our tour, and if you want to know more about that, that's in the History of Tasmania, the History of the Tasmanian Vortex book, which I wrote, detailing all the travels and how a vortex grows. To be a grid keeper or a vortex keeper is something I think that you choose before you come down here, before you incarnate. I've obviously worked with the grids in many lifetimes, and I'm back doing it again. I believe in a previous lifetime I was a grid keeper on Easter Island, and when I got to go back there to do some grid work, I just fell in love with the place. It was like I was being called home. And if you ever get a chance to visit Rapa Nui or Easter Island, then do so. It is living in the future. They all live for each other there. They have very little newspapers, very little internet. So they all just live in the now. It's a spectacular place and a wonderful place. But anyway, to show you how to connect to the grids, I'm going to do this little 3-breath exercise, which I do religiously with any group that I have or take or teach anybody. It connects you to the grid below and the grid above and gives you a pranic tube of protection. So what we do is we do 3 deep breaths from the centre of the earth. And you do this with me. You draw it up through your feet and up into the higher heart here, which is your thymus gland. And it's also your immune system. So if you fill up the top of your chest as far as it goes and then a little bit more, you're fully expanding the thymus gland and bringing your own immune system into being. So 3 deep breaths from the centre of the earth. Then we do 3 deep breaths from the centre of the universe, drawing down from the great central sun or the galactic centre or the creator of all there is, drawing it down through the top of our heads, again into our higher heart, fully expanding the top of our chest, filling it out as far as it goes and then a little bit more. And as we do this, the energies of the Mother and the Father start to mingle in our own higher heart or our spiritual heart. So 3 deep breaths from the centre of the universe. And when we've done this, we actually do 3 combined breaths. We draw from the centre of the earth and the centre of the universe at the same time, holding the energy of the Mother and the Father with our own energy, with our own spark of life. So we create our own Trinity. And on the 3rd breath, I want you to hold it as long as you can. And as you do that, you will feel each and every cell activate, which will cleanse and clear and activate any DNA codes that are set to go off at this frequency. And by doing this, you are now connected to the grid below, which is the diamond grid, and the grid above, which is the crystalline grid now. And each time you do a combined breath, you interchange the energies. They flow through you. You become a conduit for the Mother-Father energy. You also have created a pranic tube of protection. And you're keeping the pure energy coming down from the crystalline grid and coming up from the diamond grid. And that's what you're walking around in all day. You should do this at least once a day. And you too may become a grid worker. So that's my story. And I hope you all enjoy that and try that and enjoy what it feels like to be totally protected and totally connected. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.